It's so important who we surround ourselves with, because I am not any better than anyone. I'm just on my own personal journey, and my own personal journey has offered me whatever it's offered me. But one of the greatest things for our working relationship between the two of us is you've seen someone go through things and make decisions and get rid of things that weren't aligned and to shut things down that weren't. Like, who shuts down a successful company all of a sudden? Well, it wasn't in alignment. But you are doing similar things in your life because you're seeing someone do it. And I bring up this disease in the entrepreneur space because so many people are following people, but are they the people that are expanding the way that you want to? Are they the people that are challenging themselves like the way that you want to? Or are they these people that have achieved a certain level of success and aren't really growing that much anymore, and they're just trying to sell you a product? But who we surround ourselves with is the determining factor to our expansion. Because again, going back to understanding spirituality, it's frequency and vibration at the root of it is what you will find out. And that's really why it matters who we hang out with. And so a lot of your growth over the last little while has come from seeing someone else being willing to do it regardless of what the outcome. Did I feel comfortable making that decision? Fuck no. Was I scared shitless and struggled day in and day out? Yeah, I was losing sleep. I was waking up in hot sweats. Like, shit was crazy. Literally, for the last 3 months, shit's been crazy. And here I am putting on this strong face that, like, I let go of a successful company, and I'm balls to the walls getting this other company, and I'm scared shitless. Is it going to work? What are people going to think? Like, all this is still going on, but all I know is that every day I'm just here to expand. Every day I'm here to walk a little bit closer. Every day is going to be something different. One day it's going to be really great. One day it's going to be full of lessons, but I'm willing to just expand every day. And I commend you so much because you're willing to be like, oh, well, she's doing something. Why don't I just try it? Oh, it feels uncomfortable, but she's kind of doing it. So let me just keep going that way. But that's the benefit in having a community and having someone that's helping you expand, because that's ultimately what you're seeking when you're hiring all those other coaches and investing in all those other programs, is expansion of your business or self or abundance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I pinged you just the other day because I had something hit me where I was like, I'm a creator, and part of creation is actually documenting a journey and then putting it out into the world. And this is something that I know that I'm destined to do, and I'm going to do it, and whether we call it an entrepreneurial disease or an epidemic or whatever, there's a lot of ways to translate that into a way that will really land for people. And there's so many tied in pieces and stories to this, from COVID to politics and all of the surfacey things that we see, where we see like fear and anger and just all this accelerated noise, right? But just to ground people, and I haven't mentioned this to you, but like I had a great chat with Nick Cavuto the other day, who is also somebody I've had in my podcast. And he told me a few stats. Like he said there's 1 million people a month that are quitting their jobs in the United States right now. So I was like, is that true? So I went and Googled it. I was like, oh my God, it's actually 4 million people. For the last 6 months, there's been 4 million people a month retire or like quitting their jobs and either, naturally just defaulting into the next job, looking for the next best thing. Grass is greener, right? Like, there's a lot of people that are just going to kind of like flop into the next thing, but they're doing it on purpose because the companies that are going to enable them to work from home is an obvious one, right? But I think a lot of it comes back to the fact that, like, when people were able to spend time at home, they were able to sit sometimes uncomfortably and go, what do I want? Like, what do I really, and why am I here? And what's feeding my soul? And where I think this is relevant to like what the paths you and I have been down is that because we are entrepreneurs and we've been entrepreneurs for a long time, we've been around them. There's a whole bunch of those people that are going to go, well, I'm just going to be my own boss. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And for those people, there is an eye-opening awakening that's needed to not scare them out of doing it, but to rather say like, cool, here's the truth, right? And there's a lot of pieces to that as far as like, who do you trust? Well, nobody has every answer. First of all, I'd say that, like, there's no guru out there that you can follow. You need to carve your own path. But the thought of how much fear, I see it in my clients all the time, the ones I currently work with, there's so much rooted fear that has nothing to do with reality of what's present right now. It has everything to do with what they're holding on to from their past. And nobody talks about this stuff. Or if they do, it's not being talked about enough. And without that being in the space, there's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of failure, you know? And there's a lot of good things that can come out of that too, don't get me wrong, but I feel a calling to tell that story. And it's people like you that I've had in my world that have helped me see things differently, or like just a conversation like we had last week where you're like, do you see the pattern of what you're doing here? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Right? Like you're just pointing out the obvious that I just can't see. Because I'm open to it, I'm able to take it in without feeling hurt or wrong, but rather to just go, what truth is there to that? What am I not seeing here? And then make quicker pivots. So yeah, I'm excited about it too. Like I think we have a bigger purpose in what we're doing here, and what you've started here now and continue to show up and just do every single day in your way of being with the spiritual room. And I'd love for you to talk about it now, is a part of that. It's actually the new entrepreneurial Bible of how to be. Forget about the tactics of building a business. That's the easy shit. People don't get that. That's actually the easy part. It's the being is the part that people need to really lean into.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch the full unedited episode, go ahead and click over here. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks so much.